Hi, I'm Lisa with Green Hook Studio, and today I will be repairing a BlaBla Doll brand frog sent to me from a family in Oregon whose daughter has had this since she was 2 years old, and she's a teenager now, but she still really loves her special frog from when she was little. And it's got a couple holes in it, and I'm going to take care of it for her. Let's dive in and get to work and get it shipped back home soon. After adding a little more stuffing for stability in the neck, I am going to work with the original yarn that has unraveled to close up the first part of this hole. I'm starting by clipping off this stitch here at the bottom of the run so that it doesn't unravel while I'm working. And then I'm going to use my favorite repair tool, my knit picker. It's a very tiny latch hook to re-knit the stitches starting with this one here. So I will re-knit this column and then go back to the stitch that I clipped off and re-knit that column. It's a slow process, but it is worth it because the repair always looks its best when you can use as much of the original fiber as possible. With the top part of that hole now re-knit, I am going to move on to the bottom part of the hole. This one was a little bit more tangled and complicated than the top part, but I am going to pretty much use the same process of just re-knitting column by column using the original yarn where I can. And then once I have re-knit the sides of the hole, I will add in new yarn to complete it. In addition to the hole on the frog's chest, I was asked to fix a previous repair that was done on her belly. This had been stitched up with thread years ago, so first I have to cut out very carefully the bits of thread that had held this closed in the past. And then once I have those out, I can see what I'm working with to again use that same process of re-knitting the runs before I can add in any new yarn as needed. Another part of repairing a hole in a knit or crochet item is weaving in any broken ends. I am doing this partly to hide and secure them so that they aren't in the way or sticking out at all, but also so that they don't come unraveled anymore and cause new mending to need to be done. So it's for looks and for strength and security. And now it's time to add in new yarn across the hole to fill these empty spaces where I was not able to use any of the original yarn. I'm using an embroidery floss here because it was the best match for the fiber in this finely knit doll. So I have just sewn rows of the thread across the hole, and I will use them, these new fibers, to reknit in the very similar process as I was doing before with the original yarn. With the hole now reknit, I am closing it up, sewing the bottom to the top stitches in a manner that mimics the look of knit stitches to try to hide this seam as much as possible. So that means going up and down and in and out of these loops so that everything is secure, but also trying to hide the mend as much as possible. Once that is finished, I will weave in my ends and any stray loose threads that need to be tucked in as well. With this hole now closed up, I did notice there were a few stitches around this area that looked a little bit weak and thin. So I stitched back over several stitches in this area, again mimicking the look of a knit stitch to just give them a little bit of reinforcement. Now it's time to use the same reknitting process on this hole in the chest. Again, I will put the new thread across in the rows where the knit stitches should be, and then reknit column by column as I was with the original yarn that was there to create the new stitches and close this hole. With all the stitches reknit, now it's time to close up this hole. Like I did before, I am going to stitch through these knit stitches and attach them to the ones above them in a way that mimics the look of a knit stitch to hide the mend as well as possible. And I will do this carefully all across the row, and it is a little tedious because each time I have to go through a loop, remove the stitch marker and get it out of the way before I can move on. Removing the stitch markers also helps me know which loops I've already gone through. If there's a stitch marker there, I probably still need to go through it. So it helps me in more ways than one. So I'm going to do this carefully all the way across, making sure I get every stitch connected. With the holes now closed up, it's time to check over my work. I am using a needle to kind of stretch and pull, arrange some of these stitches because knit stitches are all connected, so you can kind of work them into shape by pulling on others around them. Down here I noticed again that there were some more stitches that needed shoring up. So I'm doing more of the stitching over them, mimicking knit stitches in order to strengthen and support these stitches so that we don't end up with new holes very soon after this mend. So these are precautionary stitches, and excuse my head, I was trying to get a very close look at what I was doing. One last little stretch and arrange and check over before finishing up. Just looking for any more things that need to be reshaped, anything that needs to be supported, anything that needs to be woven in, making sure everything is in place. And it looks good to me, so we'll call this finished. And now the frog is all patched up and ready to go home. If you or someone you know has a stuffed animal or knit or crochet item that needs repair, please reach out to me. Send an email to greenhookstudio@gmail.com or take a look at my website, greenhookstudio.com, for examples of other repairs that I've done. I hope to see you back here real soon. Thanks for watching.